In this video, we're going to look at uploading your first web page. At this point in time, you should have PhStorm installed and connected to your Azure web server. That should all be configured. In this video, we'll open PhpStorm. We'll make sure PhpStorm connects to your web server, which should be done from previous video. Then we'll make sure the correct panes are open. That way we can see what files are on the server, what files are on our local computer. We'll synchronize the files so that way we have the same files on the web server and on the local computer. We'll create a simple HTML file inside of PhpStorm. We'll upload that file to your web server, and then we'll show some synchronization options. Here we have PhpStorm opened up. First, we got to make sure the panes are open. The pane so we can see what's on our local computer, what's on the web server. To view our panes, one of the things that happens sometimes is there's usually a ribbon bar that goes up and down the right sides here and here on the left. For some reason on my computer it was turned off. To turn them back on, you click on View, and they're called tool buttons, and it opens up these sidebars. Now, to open up the project pane, you can either click on project right here or go up to View, Tool Windows, and then click on Project. It opens up our project on our local computer. That shows us what we have. Currently, right now, we have no files in there. Then we want to open up our remote host and see what's on their files. We can click on Remote Host over here, or we can come over here and click on View, Tools and Windows, and Remote Host. At this point in time, it'll go to the server, it'll see what's there. If you want to make sure you have the latest updated, you can click the refresh button, and then this is the files that are there. Once again, our website is underneath Site and www.root, and there's only one file there. Now what we're going to do is synchronize our files. Over here in the project pane, you can right-click your project, come down to Deployment, and click Synchronize with Deployed to your server. Or the other way would be to come over here on the server side, click your root, www.root, and then say Sync with Local. Both of those options open up this difference between window. And what this does is shows us what differences we have here. Looking here, we have these 4 different buttons up on top. I'm going to deselect them all. What this button does is shows all the files that exist on the local computer, the left side, that do not exist on the right side. I'll turn that button off. I'll turn this one on. This button shows the files that aren't equal between your local computer and your server. And what we mean by not equal is they exist on both sides, but there's a difference. The save dates are different, the file size is different. I'll deselect that one. At this point in time, we'll just select the equals. This shows you all the files that are the same. You can go through and you can look and see that all those files are. And then the green button pointing to the left here shows you all the files that exist on right side, the server, that don't exist there. As you can see, we have one file that exists on the server, but we do not have it on our computer. What that is that default web page. It's that blue Azure web page at this point in time. So now what we're going to do is we are going to synchronize the files. You have a couple of options. If you only have one file that's different, what you can do is come up here and say synchronize selected files. If you have a bunch of them, it will synchronize all the files. And when we synchronize it, it's all the files that appear in this screen. Right now we only have the green arrow there, but if we'd select all of them, it would show us all the files there. And basically we have nothing on our website, so there's nothing there. So I'm just going to synchronize everything just to have it there, and it goes fairly quick. And now you can see it lists on both sides. It has the same file size, it has the same date. That's how we synchronize these files. I'm going to close this window. Next step is I'm going to create a simple HTML file. Show you how to create files and then show you how to actually upload it to the web server and then view it. Over here in the project pane, I right click on my project, go to new. As you see here, you can select different types of files to create. It gives you a nice base template to start with. Click on HTML file, it asks for the name. What we're going to call this one is plain HTML. Just something nice and simple. We're not going to add any cascading style sheets or PHP or anything in at this point in time. We want it to be an HTML file. As you can see, we can choose HTML4, XHTML, but we want HTML5 and click OK. In the center pane, some people call this the working pane, notice we have a base template for our HTML. What I'd like you to do is go through and modify a couple things. We'll change the page header. I'd like you to put your name in there. And then what we're doing, it's a plain HTML code sample. And then down in the body, I'd like you to add in a couple things. Let's add a header in. And notice as I start typing, I put the greater than sign, and it gives me all the options. If I push H, it starts to filter it out. We're going to put an header file, H1, in there. You can double click it, but it didn't put the closing parentheses on it. Why that is because you can add additional options in there, but we're just going to keep this simple. We're going to close it out. As soon as I close it, that's the opening header 1 tag. They know we have to have a closing header 1 tag. This is part of what makes PHP Storm a really good tool to work with. It does some stuff intuitively. Here, we'll just put the same text as we did for our page header. Copy it. And I did a copy as plain text. That way, if there's any formatting or anything, it won't do it. So we put that in there. And let's just add a quick little paragraph in here. Once again, we start typing, but as soon as I put that closing there, it knows we're going to close it. And just some sort of text in there. This is sample text. Now our file is done. One thing to note is as you type here in this central editor, PHP Storm automatically saves it as you type to your local device. It's always saving it, saving it, saving it. Every time you type a character, it's saved. And that's how it works. It's not like Microsoft Word where you type a bunch of stuff and then you have to click save. This is active saving. Now we have it saved, and once again, it's just a simple HTML file. At this time, we're going to synchronize it or upload it to the server. I'm going to come over here, I'm going to right click on the file and say upload to our server, ICT 475, and then your username. It goes through, it gives you some feedback here, upload complete, and then if we look at the remote host, it's now listing it over there. Now, to view it, there's a couple ways to view that. You could type in your web address, and then you could type in the file name, or if you mouse over here, just the mouse is in this area, notice that this little menu bar comes up here and it shows different web browsers. Go ahead, click on one of the web browsers you have installed. What this is going to do is open up that page on your server. So here's my server address, and then it's going to append the file name onto it and open it up. Very easy to verify it's up, it's running, and if you need to make any changes. Now I'm going to show you how synchronization works. Let's go back to PHP Storm. Let's add in another paragraph at this point in time. Another sample text. So I added it in. Once again, it saves it to the local hard drive, but it doesn't upload it until you tell it to. We're not going to upload it right away. We're going to go and do that comparison again so I can show you what that looks like. At this point in time, we can go right click on your project, come down to deployment, and then sync with deployed to your server. Opens up this difference window. I'm going to unselect these If I click on this first icon, there's nothing to show here because every file that exists on my local computer exists on the remote web server. We did that synchronization earlier, it added it. But here, I'm going to unselect that first arrow. Now I'm going to go into the one that says show difference, the red equal sign with a slash through it. This is what I wanted to show you. This will show you where differences are in your files between your local copy and your web server. Here, once again, it's plain HTML here, plain HTML on the file server, but we can look at it and see the size is different. One thing I am not a fan of here with PHP Storm is you can't necessarily extend or contract these files. It looks like the date's kind of the same, but it's actually not. What the big telltale sign for me is the size is different. If you type in one extra period, one extra space, the size will be different. And once again, it's saying your local copy is different than your file copy. At this point in time, what you can do is either synchronize the selected file or synchronize all. And when you synchronize it, what it does is it takes the most recent file and puts that on both sides. In our case, it's going to take our local copy and overwrite it on the web server. This is some intelligence built into the software and it works pretty good. At this point in time, I'm going to synchronize it. It's gone. If we go to the equal sign, you can see that they're saying they're equal, that the sizes are the same, and once again, that default web page is the same. I'm going to close this. I'm going to go back into our web browser, and once again, this is what we opened up before. Now, if I refresh it, it should say that. And so that's how we synchronize. This is the end of the video. Thank you for watching.